The child that was never born but lived. In a village nestled by the winding paths of the Niger Delta, surrounded by water and dense palm trees, lived a woman named Nkem. She was a midwife. Skilled. Calm. Known for bringing life into the world, though life had never blessed her own womb. She was married to Obi, a farmer, and together they had waited nearly 11 years for a child. Every month came and went with tears. Every season passed with more herbal drinks, more offerings, more prayers. The villagers pitied her. Some whispered behind her back, saying she had been cursed. Others said she had offended the river spirits. Nkem said nothing. She smiled when she needed to. She helped other women deliver their babies. She sang to newborns she would never call her own. But inside, she was empty. And not just in the womb. In the soul. Until the night of the blood moon. It happened in April. A heavy fog clung to the village like a shroud. The wind was still. That night, Nkem had a dream. She stood beneath a large Iroko tree in a place she didn't recognize, its roots stretched wide, its trunk bleeding a slow, black liquid into the ground. Around her were the sounds of crying children, not babies, but the voices of the unborn. And in front of her, stood a woman with no face. Only a mouth. Smiling. The faceless woman said, "You do not need to give birth. You only need to open the door." Then she stepped back into the tree, and the roots moved, curling inward, like fingers grasping something unseen. Nkem woke gasping, soaked in sweat. The next morning, she began to bleed. A deep, dark red. More than she had ever bled. And yet, it did not hurt. It continued for 7 days. After the 7th, it stopped. That night, at precisely 2:11 a.m., Nkem felt something stir inside her. There was no swelling. No sickness. No cravings. But something moved. It shifted beneath her ribs. Like the flutter of tiny hands. Like breath brushing against her from the inside. She told no one. Not even Obi. But she started sleeping with one hand on her stomach. And every night, the movement returned. Exactly at 2:11. It was the same time the crying began. Not hers. A child's. At first it came from outside, soft, distant. Then, closer. Then, from within the house. She would wake to the sound of bare feet pattering on the clay floor. Tiny hands knocking gently on the wooden door. A giggle echoing in the corner of the room. Still, she said nothing. By the second week, Nkem stopped sleeping. Every time she closed her eyes, she dreamt of the Iroko tree. But now, she wasn't alone. A child stood beside her. Small. Naked. Covered in red dust. He never spoke. But he held her hand. And she always woke with her hand outstretched, as if still holding his. She began to talk to him. During the day. While cooking. While bathing. She gave him a name. Kochi. Short for countryside, the gods have decided. The name came to her as naturally as breath. Things in the house began to change. Bowls cracked without cause. Spoons disappeared. The calabash of drinking water turned black overnight. She would sweep the floor in the morning and find footprints. Tiny. Dusty. Trailing from the bedroom to the window. Obi asked questions. She said, simply, "We have a guest." He laughed, uneasy. But then came the mirror. One morning, as Nkem cleaned, she noticed the mirror in their room was fogged. Strange, because it wasn't cold. She wiped it with her wrapper. Behind her reflection was another. A small boy. Smiling. Eyes black. Teeth too many. When she turned around, nothing was there. But the mirror now had something etched into the glass from the inside. Mama. Obi insisted they see a priest. The priest refused to enter the house. Instead, he stood at the doorway, holding a gourd of holy water, and chanted. When he threw the water toward the mirror, it hissed like it touched fire. He turned to Obi and said, "She has invited something that does not belong here." Obi begged Nkem to leave. She refused. "I have waited too long," she said. "My child is finally home." That night, Obi packed his things and left. He never came back. After Obi's departure, Nkem changed. Her voice softened. Her eyes darkened. She stopped attending births. She no longer needed to. At night, villagers walking by her window heard lullabies. Soft, loving songs in a language no one recognized. Once, a child in the village followed a trail of stones to her doorstep. When his mother found him, he was humming one of Nkem's lullabies and staring into the dark. The boy would not speak again for 3 years. By the 6th month, Nkem's hair had gone white. Her lips were always dry. She stopped eating. But the house was full of movement. Neighbors said they had toys being played with, though no toys were in the home. One woman swore she saw a swing made of bone hanging from the mango tree, and something was swinging. Another saw a small figure, crouched by the well at dawn, drinking water with both hands, like a wild animal. Still, no one dared approach. Because every night, just after 2:11 a.m., the entire village heard a child laughing, and a woman singing back. The final month came. Nkem's body grew thin. Her cheek sank. And yet her spirit seemed bright. She smiled more. She hummed everywhere she went. She spoke to herself constantly, no, not to herself, to Kochi. She said, "It's almost time. Are you ready?" She went to the market and bought baby clothes. All red. All stitched by hand. She placed them on the bed beside her. And in the corner, she placed a wooden cradle carved from the root of the Iroko tree. That night, the drumming started. Low. Deep. Coming from beneath the earth. And then the crying began, not one, but many. As if all the unborn children from the dreams had gathered, waiting. In the morning, the house was silent. A neighbor, brave but trembling, knocked. No answer. She opened the door. Inside was Nkem, seated in her rocking chair. Dead. Smiling. In her lap was the red doll she had made weeks ago. Only now, it was breathing. The villagers held no funeral. They burned the house. But every year, on the anniversary of Nkem's death, they say a woman is seen standing at the edge of the village. She is holding the hand of a small boy with red dust on his skin. And if you pass them, you'll hear the boy whisper, "I was never born. But I was always alive." And if you look into your mirror that night, don't be surprised if you see tiny handprints on the glass. Or hear knocking just after 2:11 a.m. Like and subscribe for part 2.